me what they should wear. And I don't think I see anyone in uniform. Or costume. Or maybe you are, and I didn't notice. It's quiet now. I want to welcome you tonight. This is our, when we planned it, we said it was our first annual. Right now, I'm not sure, because we're all exhausted. Maybe the first and last. I'm thinking maybe a dinner theater would be a wonderful idea. Maybe a dinner theater. Anyway, we're so glad you're here. People said you will never sell 150 tickets. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Our staff, our kitchen help are enthusiastic and they're ready to go. Our cast are ready to go, and I hope you enjoy our little effort. And if you don't, tell somebody else. And if you do, tell somebody else. But just, I want you to relax and have fun. We wanted to have a perfect evening. And if everything isn't perfect, it isn't because we didn't try. So, that silver didn't come and all that stuff. So thank you for coming.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I was just roaming around, checking out things, making sure everything was set quite straight and precise according to the way an ambassador's dinner should be set. I'm just a little excited because I get to tell you a little bit about what's going to be happening here tonight. I am Annie. Now, that's short for Annabelle, but we do not want to put on any airs, so just call me Annie. Now, I run this place, but don't tell anybody I said that, okay? But I pretty much do. And nothing gets past me. And I don't tell tales. And I've grown real fond of that Prince and Julie. Now, it is great to see you all here tonight. When I saw Julie sending out those invites, I didn't think anybody was going to come. But you're all here? Fantastic. Now, we've been waiting all along for that royal shipment of table fixings to come in, and for this lovely ambassador's dinner that we're having here. And I don't even know if he's an ambassador. Maybe he's an ambassador for a tour or something? Anyway, things didn't quite come together, so we don't quite have those fine table fixings, but we're making do with some mismatched stuff from the Wentworth's house and some other stuff that we found. We meant to have nothing but the best for you guys, but just pretend it's the finest available, and it'll all just be fine. Well, really, it is the finest that we could actually put our hands on. So, I hope the boys down at the officers' mess, I really hope you're invited. Oh, I see a few, because if they weren't, they'd be eating with birch twigs tonight for cutlery. So good thing they came, because we had to take those. It's a good thing the special food orders came, though. They've prepared enough food for an army. I told the cook you'd be gnawing at your eyes, you'd be so hungry. And now, you'll be getting your dinner in drib-drabs, small portions, but don't worry. It's all going to come together at the end, I promise. And you're not going to go home hungry. My land, the amount of coffee they're brewing back there, if anything's true about what they say about coffee, there'll be no babies born this year. I am a tea drinker myself. Anyway, welcome to the estate. The Prince and Julie now, they go about their business. They're kind of quiet like that. They try not to be front row and all, because their little problem. No ring in that, okay? So just giving you a bit of a welcome. I think I'm going to be hearing some music, so we'll chat later.
Just one thing, I just want to tell you that our Annie is sick. And Tara is filling in last minute, so she's doing amazingly. So pardon her holding her words, but she's doing well. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Joe.
I am your omnipresent narrator from the present. So as you can see, I'm wired up. I'm dressed in clothes very similar to yourselves. So I'm here to defend you from these folks that are coming in from the 1800s. I will be around if you need any assistance with etiquette or anything like that, because you will find they'll get a little nasty at times if you're not following the royal way. So the other quick thing I just wanted to make you aware of before we start tonight is that when we are performing up here, if you would like, please make sure to just turn yourself at the table a little bit so that you can get a better view. That way no one will need a chiropractic adjustment when they leave here later this evening. Okay? So now we are going to begin our story. Our story is about Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, the fourth son of King George III and Queen Charlotte of England, and his lady friend, Mademoiselle de Saint Laurent, or Julie. Edward is best remembered as being the father of Queen Victoria. Edward and Julie spent almost 10 years in Canada, 6 right here in the Halifax area. If letters had been saved, one imagines they would be somewhat like what follows. Edward's father was George III. During his reign, he was a strong force in Europe, but it must have caused him much distress to have lost Britain's American colonies. Edward's mother, Queen Charlotte, was a German princess, and consequently, Edward spoke German.
Guten Tag!
Viele Leute! Very talented individual.
Oh, George.
Doesn't know when to be quiet, but very talented individual. In the mid-1780s, Prince Edward was sent by his father to Lunenburg, Nova Scotia, Lunenburg, Germany, for military training under the tutelage of Baron Wegenheim. I'm going to say that again just because I like to say it.
Good help.
Baron Wegenheim.
Wagenheim. Wagenheim.
See, you don't know when to be quiet.
You don't know how to speak German?
Listen, you historic relic. Be careful. His strict tutor kept most of the £5,000 given him to cover Edward's expenses, causing the prince to run up debts. He went from here to Geneva, where he finished his education in 1789 at the age of 22. Interesting aside, Edward's formal education was a strict contrast to that of his older brother William, who, destined for a naval career, enlisted as a midshipman at age 13. Wish my 13-year-old would do something like that. During the American Revolution, he served for a time in New York, captained a frigate at age 21, and retired from the Navy at age 25. He eventually became King William IV, and his throne passed to Queen Victoria on his death in 1837. Now back to Edward. The Baron censored his letters, coming and going, so Edward had no way of making the case to his father for more money. When in Geneva and almost done his schooling, I'm going to move away from that speaker, he left, unauthorized, totally unauthorized, returning to London to discuss his situation with his father. The king would not see him and sent him away. As punishment for going AWOL, he demoted Edward and stationed him to Gibraltar, a post which was in the utmost of disorganization. At one point while there, Edward, who delighted in fine military dress and in an effort to bring order from the drunken chaos at the garrison, ordered all into new... Wow, there's some people here that appreciate drunken chaos.
This table right down here.
Isn't that Rena sitting at that table?
Rena Hill. She's a naughty one.
I am shocked. I'm going to read that again, just for emphasis. At one point, while there, Edward, who delighted in fine military dress, and in an effort to bring order from the drunken chaos at the garrison, ordered all into new, colorful uniforms. He set new high standards. No drinking on duty. Daily shave. Haircuts and baths. Clean uniforms and daily inspections. The garrison mutinied. And the king was horrified. Horrified he was. His brothers defended his actions, but life was not easy for the ambitious and conscientious young prince. Though he was reported to neither drink excessively nor gamble, he spent most of his life trying to get out of debt for one thing or another. Like 7 times, he lost his complete military kit at sea and needed to replace it. When he was middle-aged, he was still living frugally. He was still living frugally. So now our first scene is set in London, England, where King George III is opening a letter from Prince Edward himself.
So, Charlotte, what do we have here? We have another letter from Edward.
Oh, Edward.
Yes, Edward. We have worked so hard to raise these 10 sons of ours.
And 5 daughters, dear.
And 5 daughters. 5 daughters. These 10 sons of ours to be on the straight and narrow, to be grown up, to be good royal officers in the King's army. And they're all... Oh, we have one chance, one opportunity. Our 4th son, Edward, and here he is complaining. We hired Wangenheim in Lunenburg, Germany, to take Edward and to mold him into a fine military officer. Give him some backbone. Be tough with him. Be strict. Make sure he's a good royal officer in my army and my military. And yet he's just constantly complaining. My goodness, if Edward doesn't do it, we're going to have no one to carry on the royal line.
Oh, George, just give me the letter.
Oh,
You're
yes,
far
there it
too
is.
hard on the boy.
Oh,
Dear mother and father, it is raining here on all the beautiful cobblestones of Lunenburg in Germany.
dang fool sounds like a poet, don't you think?
George.
Not a royal king.
George,
Yes.
on a day like this, it is an advantage to be in an area where your boots aren't always covered in wet mud.
No, that's not a bad idea. She's right there.
I have a bit of a problem, poor Edward. I know that you provide generously to Baron Wangenheim to cover my expenses, but I get little of it. He pays none of my costs and gives me a pittance for my expenses. It costs a lot to live here, and I am obliged to go into debt to one and all for services rendered to me. Would you please direct Wangenheim to advance me more money, as my bills are mounting?
Ah! Bah! Not likely.
Oh, George.
Not likely indeed, that fine profligate son of mine. He's not going to get another cent from me, I tell you.
A special greeting to you, Mother. I do miss you all so much. Loyally, Edward. Edward.
Oh, loyally, Edward. At least he remembered to send greetings to you this time, dear Charlotte.
He did.
Oh, my goodness me. I think I'm just going to ignore this letter. I want Wangenheim to be tough with him, to make things really rough. Give him some backbone. Be strict with him. Make him a really tough British officer.
George, you are far too hard on the children, especially Edward.
You do favor him just a tad, don't you, my dearest?
And now, another letter to King George from Prince Edward.
Another letter from Edward.
Yes?
This one's addressed to you.
No. Just a dad. Well, read it. Read it.
Eyes going, dear, in your old age?
No.
Dear Father, I'm sorry that you would not see me in London recently when I came to speak with you about my financial situation. George.
No.
I accept that I was wrong to abandon my tutor and depart Geneva without notice.
There you go. See? I'm glad he sees the light.
I will miss my status of colonel, but will work hard to regain your confidence as an ordinary officer here in Gibraltar.
I'm glad to hear it.
I quite enjoy being with the 7th Regiment of Foot, Royal Fusilier, but they do need a uniform update. Pretty drab. I'm thinking a red coat would be nice. That's a nice choice.
No.
The discipline here is pretty lax, and I'm cracking down on the whole garrison. I would even agree with the principles of my nemesis, Wagenheim, that discipline is needed here. Regards, Edward. Edward.
I'm George the Third of England, I am. Wed Charlotte Young, and we had quite a clan. 15 children, Edward's our 4th son. 15 children keep us on the run, and everyone is a problem.
Oh, George.
We didn't have a single perfect one in all the buts. I'm a strict old English patriarch.
He is.
George the Third of England, I am. George the Third of England, I am. They're good.
They can keep beat.
George the Third of England, I am.
You are.
Charlotte and I doing what we can. We got married, never knew what would happen next. Then we found it wasn't happening at all. I'm George the Third of England, I am. Wed Charlotte Young, and we had quite a clan. 15 children, Edward's our 4th son. 15 children kept us on the run, but everyone is a problem.
George.
Didn't have a perfect one in all the bunch. I'm a strict old English patriarch. George the Third of England, I am. George the Third of England, I am. Yes.
George.
George the Third of England, he is. Bedford and 14 more kids are his. Strict hopes all the kids don't turn out wild. Forgets it's tough to be a royal child. Daring to lead, that's our Edward. Much required from the soldier boy. I'm a strict old man, he's George the Third. George the Third of England, he is. George the Third of England, he is. Yes. Dismissed.
Squad, right, turn! Quick, march! Catherine, get it together or thou will feel the flat of my blade tonight! Yes, Sergeant! Again! Left wheel!
And Rena, I'm over here. They weren't even drinking. As he served the crown in Gibraltar, Prince Edward was very lonely. In November 1790, in an effort to enhance the life that went along with the military role given him by his father, he decided he needed a companion. Quoting some of the available records, he sent to France to find a young lady, be my companion and mistress of my house. You wouldn't get away with that today. Not in this generation. The candidate presented was Therese Bernardine Montagenet, who agreed to take on the persona of Mademoiselle de Saint Laurent. Quote, she charmed the prince, spurned a bribe to leave him, and accompanied him in the summer of 1791 to his military command in Quebec, if you say it that other way, beginning a 28-year liaison of great mutual happiness. Quote, for the next 4 years, she joined the prince in Halifax, where he was military commander of the Maritime Provinces. Madame was welcomed in Halifax, as she had been in Quebec, except among the proper ladies, who do not accept her socially, as a French visitor to the Lower Canadian capital had remarked.
My dear friend, life would be so much easier here in Gibraltar if I had a chatelaine to act as my companion and mistress of house. My duties here would be greatly enhanced by having someone by my side who I could trust, and of course whose company I would enjoy. Could you please look about for such a candidate for me? I don't know how long I will be stationed here. But while you are inquiring, please ask if such a person exists. And would they be willing, perhaps, to travel to my next posting? Maybe Canada. I look forward to an early response. Sincerely, Edward.
I just want to take a minute. Some people aren't aware that we have a silent auction going on this opposite wall. So not right now because you're going to be busy, but the next break after you have your next course, maybe you'd wander around and see what we have. You know, we have to raise lots of money. That's the price. Thanks.
Phones. Odd looking phone. Let me see. What do you do with that? But I knew it was a phone. I'm gonna be up with the narrator guy there yet, because he's not wearing any looking clothes from our time. Oh, no thank you. It might go against the speech. Anyway, hello. If you haven't already guessed, I am Annie. Welcome back to another act. So much to do. Anyway, I hope you're keeping up with the story, okay? We're out of Europe. We're back here now at the Princess Lodge. Now, something important to tell you. I forgot to tell you this. I'm taking notes, hence the papers here, because I'm doing a bit of a gossip piece for the Halifax Comical, or whatever. I'll write for anything, really. Okay. Now, things are looking up around here. The prince is spending lots of money to fancy things up. Looking pretty good. Yeah, you guys are dressed for the occasion. Okay. Now, the Wentworths are going to be very pleased with what he's done with this place. Looking pretty good. You know, they really do love this property, and it's a pleasure to have them staying here. Now, how did you like the salad? Was it good? Kudos to the cooks. Now, I think the cook is showing off a little bit, though. That blue cheese, we weren't sure if it was going to blue up a bit enough for your serving, but it got blue, so we served it. And the blueberries, they came off the hill. Oh, nothing like living on a hill with blueberries. Oh, anyway, I hope you liked it. Actually, a lot of the food tonight came off our property. We have lovely gardens around with yummy vegetables, and we also have a chicken coop. Now, I don't even know if we're having chicken. See, I don't get to eat. I wouldn't know that. Okay. All right. Where is that story guy? He's gonna navigate you or narrate you? I don't know. He's gonna do something with you, and I'll see you later.
Now, Annie, I managed to find some alcohol.
Uh-oh.
I figured we had to integrate Alexander Keith's into the story somehow.
Alexander Keith.
Didn't he make his fortune off the garrison here in Halifax? And I'm sure maybe he helped Edward pay off some of those debts.
Do they make beer on the property?
They make beer everywhere.
Sweet. Okay.
Oh, that tasted so good. So I guess we're going back to this story. When Edward and Julie came to Halifax, they lived on the outskirts, now Princess Lodge, in a manor house owned by the Lieutenant Governor, John Wentworth. John and his wife, were in residence at Government House and were happy to lend their country property to Edward and Julie. To quote an internet reference, yes, internet is a term that is from today's present age. In a letter to John Wentworth, Lieutenant Governor of Nova Scotia, Julie was an elegant, well-bred, you see, you wouldn't say that today, but elegant, well-bred, pleasing, sensible woman, far beyond most. I never yet saw a woman of such intrepid fortitude, yet possessing the finest temper and refined manners. Describes most of the modern women in this room today. One of Edward's initiatives was to build a movable, fence-like structure across the mouth of the Halifax harbor to prevent ships from entering on scene at night. He erected a series of 5 martellos, round, multi-story, secure fortifications that almost defied overtaking. The only one that remains today is the Prince of Wales Tower in Point Pleasant Park. It was used as a redoubt in a power magazine. A redoubt is a place of retreat. Remains of the Duke of York Tower at York Redoubt are boarded up today for conservation purposes. It was built in 1796. It's now the oldest remaining Martello-style tower in North America, and it's a National Heritage Site. The Duke of Clarence Martello Tower stood on the Dartmouth shore, and the Shearbrook Martello Tower stood opposite York Redoubt on McNabb's Island. The 5th tower stood on George's Island. We now join the governor and his wife in his study.
Yeah. Oh, John, it is so good to take a pause in the afternoon. It is so busy here these days. So much going on.
Well, Francis, I've been going over all these papers for the arrival of Prince Edward and Mademoiselle Julie.
Oh, my goodness. How exciting.
Well, I think everything's pretty well in order. I think we can live at Government House in Halifax, right in the center of Halifax.
What?
Well, if we live there, we can push and lobby to have it torn down, and a proper house built for the governor.
We will push and lobby for it to be torn down.
Demolished.
While we're in it.
Hopefully.
Hopefully? I think not.
It's going to happen.
Oh, the stress, John, the stress.
In the meantime, Prince Edward and Mademoiselle Julie can live here in our estate overlooking Bedford Basin. It's absolutely beautiful.
But John, I love going out to the estate and the off season and getting away from the hurly-burly of everything that's going on at Halifax. I mean, it's just so busy there. There are soldiers, there are merchants, there are sailors. And you never know what hooligans you might find on the streets.
Listen, you don't often have royalty stay in your house.
Well, that's true. That would be a bit of a coup.
And you'll be able to come here often to see Prince Edward and Julie. I think you'll like her. I've heard from glowing reports from people in Quebec. And he's conscientious. I think he'll fit in. She's got a fabulous reputation as a hostess and a partner.
Oh.
So I think they'll do very well here.
That means parties.
Well, he also has great plans for the fortification of the city.
Oh, that's nice.
He's well-trained, knowledgeable, lots of experience, and the king has trained him and made sure that he has leadership qualities to work anywhere in the kingdom.
Well, that sounds good.
Well, I also heard people say that he is a strict leader, but very fair. A sort of no-nonsense kind of leader.
It sounds a little dull.
Well, it's also said that he neither drinks nor smokes, and he does not chase after the women of the other men.
How positively virtuous.
Actually, it's a fine attribute.
No doubt. Well, if we must, I suppose I can be happy. I'm just delighted. Oh, well, if it must be, it must be. By the way, did you hear that I believe there is an ambassador's dinner planned?
Yes?
Well, I do hope that their fine furniture and dishes get here in time. Otherwise, they're going to have to be using this ordinary china of our own household.
Look, I think they will entertain very, very well. And I think they'll make great sport out of having these dishes like this. And it'll be a little bit more rustic here in Halifax. So...
Rustic?
Rustic.
Rustic.
Rustic. So, I think everything looks good here. I believe everything is ready for our royal guests. So let's head back to the city.
Oh, if we must.
Thank you, Sadie.
By the way, there's a letter for you, Mademoiselle Julie.
Why, thank you, Sadie. Thank you very much for bringing it up to me. And thank you, my dear, for the fresh tea. Oh, it's from my mother.
My darling Julie. My darling Julie, I am so sad to hear that you have decided to follow Prince Edward to America. You don't need to live like that. Come home, my daughter. Your family who love and support you are here. I can't bear the thought that your heart will be broken by the prince. Come home, my dear. You are a beautiful young woman, and you don't need to sell your heart, your body, and your soul. Your father is so upset about this decision of yours to extend your stay with the prince, and now you are so far away. Please be well and come home soon. Love, Tamer.
Poor mother, she just doesn't understand. I will write her now. We're back from our travels, Prince Edward and me, to quaint Nova Scotia, where our home will now be. To London, New York, and Quebec we did go. He wants me beside him, I want you to know. To be his companion and mistress of house, to Halifax welcomed by Wentworth and spouse, an elegant, well-bred, pleasing woman, one wrote, finest temper, refined manners, I further do quote. Just think of the parties we're required to host. I'll give it a try, this colonial post. You've raised me, ma mère, the task to perform. Fine manners, good English, pretense is my norm. It's the 1790s, my life can just wait. It's a wonderful chance, I consider it fate. We'll go many places, the world I will tour, meet many fine people, he'll be mon amour. Oh, hello, Edward. Did you see the beautiful sunrise this morning?
I did. It was beautiful, but not as beautiful as you. What are you doing, my love?
Oh, I was just reading a letter from my mother.
Your mother? You are concerned. Dear Julie, I need you right here by my side. Be happy here with me, you've no need to hide. Life will not be easy, but we'll settle here, using Wentworth's nice home, maybe many a year. Life's hard, it's not easy, but I'm by your side. My troops would get lazy if I don't with them ride. It's better here, Julie, Father could not be pleased. My brothers all know he cannot be appeased. I want you here with me, a good life we'll share. Julie, don't listen to the words from your mare. Meant well, but our meeting, it was destined to be. Be happy and send her a a greeting from me. Stay here with me and be happy.
I will stay. I will stay as long as you want me to. I would stay with you forever.
Forever? You have my heart. No matter what gets in the way of that, as I'm lost for words. My men are approaching. I must go now, my love.
Steady up, men. Here comes the prince. I don't know how he makes those sunrise parades in Halifax every morning, but he does.
He is a hard-working fellow. Besides, he does pretty well to leave that beautiful Julie every day. Must be hard, him a royal and all, who could call his own hours. Well, if I was him, I'd...
Well, you aren't him. I wonder what he's going to get on for us today. Maybe going down, fixing up that citadel? Or way off building up those towers?
I hope it's at the fort down on the harbor. At least down there's a chance of a cool breeze off the water.
That's true.
Otherwise, on that road, it's just mud and bugs and, oh, so hot on that route all the way to Mount Uniacke. The last tower reporting to Halifax on the route to Annapolis Royal.
Oh, that is a hard, long ride. Perhaps it's not too early that we can maybe make it down to the Fort Sackville Manor House or the Fultz House in Sackville for a drink.
You and Nolan keep drinking.
Yeah. But otherwise, it's a long, hard ride all the way to the last tower we oversee and back again.
Where's that? And the bugs.
Oh,
the bugs.
bugs.
As soon as you move beyond the head of the basin, where there's no breeze coming off Bedford Bay, I swear the bugs are as big as hummingbirds.
They're huge. Bugs.
I'll use my sword on them. Hummingbirds?
Yeah, hummingbirds at the very least, Sergeant.
I thought they were as big as pigeons.
They get bigger every time.
Eyes left, man. Here comes the prince. Your Highness.
Good day, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
Where are we headed today, sir?
Well, I think perhaps we'll head downtown. Do you suppose any ships have breached our harbor during the night?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
I think we'll check on the progress of those Martellos. Come to think of it, have I told you how impressed I have been?
No, sir. No, sir.
No? Well, you know, it kind of made me think. They would work well here, I suppose. We have wide open spaces for foes to prepare an attack. And, well, I've heard of troops stationed at the Martellos that have held off attacks for days.
Oh, that's good.
Pretty good, I'd say. They're bloody near impenetrable, if they're done right, that is. The door is on the second level, with a drop-down ladder. The guns and cannons are, well, on the roof, of course. The one place I have heard of a breach, however, was because they had all the cannons aimed at the water.
So these Martello towers, Your Majesty, how are they laid out?
Well, the cistern and well are in the basement. The supplies and food are on the main level, of course, with the living quarters for the officers and the men on the second floor. And then there's 5-foot thick stone walls to ward off the cannon fire.
That's pretty.
Do you think that's sufficient, men?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very good, then. And if there's nothing flammable, perhaps, in that range to catch fire or smoke them out, the soldiers perhaps may be able to keep that area secure for an extended period of time.
Yes, sir.
Of course, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So where are you planning on placing them?
Well, that's a good question. I believe that we're going to place about 5 of them.
5.
And you're going to build them.
Of course.
On the harbour shore at Redoubt, Point Pleasant Park, McNabb's.
Good choice, sir.
Thank you. Dartmouth Shore.
Oh, that's a good choice too, sir.
And of course, last but not least, Lawler's.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. 5 of them. 5 of them.
Well, I think you men should fall into step.
Thank you very much, Your Highness. Squad, right, turn! Quick, march! Hamlet, close those fists. You will be in the stocks tonight.
Yes, Sergeant.
Silent auction. Don't be afraid to bid too much. Too much is okay. Easily outbid by $20. It works perfect. You'll get the item. All right. It's time to start Act 3. We have a show to put on. I must make myself known in the garden. Oh, such a beautiful country garden. All right, everyone sit down. I'm trying to be nice here. Just sit. Sit. Back away from the table. Back away from the table. Okay, if you're bidding, that's okay. I'll accept that. Anyway, hello. I'm Annie, you know, short for Annabelle, all that good stuff. Okay, that prince, what is he doing? Does he think the Russians are coming or something with all those big fortifications he's building? Big fortifications, 5 of them. And all we got is some little old threat going on down the coast. Anyway, he works so hard to impress the king, but he doesn't even notice him. Doesn't give him a bit of attention. Ugh. Anyway, I'm glad he's got Julie, because at least he's not going to be miserable. Now, a little bit of gossip for you. Did you hear about the governor? He's very sensitive these days, since that last prince to visit, William, was pretty friendly with his lady. He's on the watch this time, checking them all out. He notices things. Oh, I just love telling tales. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the soup. You enjoyed the soup? I worked on the boat. I caught that fresh off the bay this morning. Let's see now. Oh, one last thing. Can't forget this. Very important. The officers. Did you see them mingling with the commoners? And the guests. Well, royalty is here. But they're also mingling with us. What's with that? What's with that? I am making notes. I gotta go.
Now, Annie.
Yes.
Earlier I was telling you a story about Mr. Alexander Keith.
I remember.
Now, there is a tradition, and I'm not quite sure when it started, but here, when you go down to the lower deck, quite often you'll see people raising a glass of ale and saying, "Sociable!"
Well,
now, I don't know, is that from your time? Did you start that?
Well, nothing really is known about the lower deck until I write about it. So I'm going to work on that.
Oh, okay. Very well. So now we go back to our story. While in Halifax, the prince was very influential. As the busy garrison leader and head of the military in the Maritimes, the presence of a prince raised the social and cultural level, and it became a flourishing
on my book.
Military I think I can hear Annie. She's in my head. So, Might have been the keys. The presence of the prince raised the social and cultural level, and it became a flourishing military town. The prince had a great interest in architecture, particularly structures that are round. This style of building is called Palladian. Did you know that he either built or commissioned to be built the rotunda or the music room at Prince's Lodge, St. George's Anglican Church, the round church in Halifax, which was finished after he left the city, the Citadel Hill Clock, and the Martello Tower in Point Pleasant Park? It is said that he had the Citadel Clock built because he found the soldiers and many in the city very lax about time. Might have been the keys. With the new clock, they were now reminded of the time with hourly chimes. The rotunda at his residence at Prince's Lodge became the party center of the city. You can imagine Julie fussing over her clothes, which she made herself, in preparation for a summer evening party by the basin. Now, the scene is now back in London, and King George III and Queen Charlotte are reading a newsy letter from Edward back in Halifax.
Another letter from Edward.
Goodness me.
Hello to your highnesses. I trust this letter finds you well, so thoughtful. I'm just taking a moment to tell you that all is going on here in Halifax. It is working out really well using Governor Wentworth's estate. Lovely. It's a huge property, and there is large, rather beautiful main house with an exterior kitchen, oh my, and servants' quarters.
Quite elaborate indeed.
I have done a bit of renovating, as I do love to get involved with all things architectural. I have added porticos and bay windows, and it gives the place a bit more class.
Just look at that. All of the ladies will copy, I bet. This is so close, so that's not good for me. My husband hears that and expects it of me.
Of jewels, I have something for you today that I picked up from my last trip to France. Crystal hearts.
Thank you, Mademoiselle Julie.
Very welcome.
Thank you.
looking pretty spiffy tonight, I must say. This is what I wear, but I'll talk about that later. Now, it's gotten a lot classier around here since this prince showed up. And did you see those dear little girls looking at Julie's dress, eyeballing all those jewels? I'll tell you, it's like a proper fairy tale. For all of us, really. Now, I must remember to keep my darks for funerals. Very important. And not to be wearing them to me fancy balls anymore. And I do know about the browns. Only rich women can afford the whites, since you need people to keep them clean. Me, I don't have people. I's the people around here. But you know what? I think they need me in the kitchen to help with the next course. I really need to get some people.
What do I do? Yeah? Mm-hmm. And just go back. Then, I was going to get a picture of you up there, but it's okay. Thank you, thank you, Sadie. Thank you.
Tea would be lovely. Yes, tea would be lovely.
Dear Edward, every day you go to the hill. And I wonder what takes you there. Do you chat with the birds or do you curse all the bugs? I miss you when you're not here, and I wonder what takes you away.
My dear, I want you to be happy, and there's so many things that I want to give to you. But I can't give you a ring. But I have done something for you. I have made something for you. And I won't wait another minute to show it to you. Come.
Oh, but it feels like we're going in circles.
Well, not round and round, but round and down. This is the J in Julie, the pathway in the garden that I have built for you. Do you like it?
It is beautiful.
Am I supposed to say something? Why, what a lovely evening.
Yes.
And I really don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Hey, there's a pond.
Yes, I've also made you a pond. It's a heart-shaped pond with ducks and fish, not the fish that was in your chowder. And we can sit there. It's going to be our special place. It's my way of showing you just how much I love you. I can't give you a crown or a wedding ring, but this gift will make you sing. It's a pathway there, Julie, just for you, made to honor only you. There's a pond there too, with some ducks and fish, and it's shaped just like a heart. When you visit there, you can make a wish. My wish never be apart. It's my space, my love, we can visit there in the place that we love best. And I'd like to think that in decades hence others visit here to rest. Others visit here to rest.
In the prince's garden. Did you know that his mother, Queen Charlotte, was an amateur botanist or gardener, and she was took quite an interest in developing the gardens around Kew Castle, which you can still visit today. And I believe that the prince got his love of gardening from his mother. I think that flowers are God's gift to all of us. And I was thinking it would be fun if we all made up some flower stories that we could share with the prince later when he comes home.
It's a Jack in the pulpit. What fun it would be if Jack would marry you and she. These lady slippers, they don't quite fit, though the bright pink color is a hit. A buttercup yellow, what do they say? If it shines on your chin, you like butter today. A Mayflower beautiful, perfume the same. Trailing arbutus is another name.
A star-shaped trillium, white as snow, as they mature, get a pinkish glow.
Oh, the wildflowers, we see we will. In the prince's garden on the hill.
I'm the royal king, and I did not hear a word of what you said. And I want to hear that again. Mr. Microphone Man, where is our microphone? Thank you. Let's do that again. Weren't they wonderful? Would you like to hear them? Let's hear them.
Okay.
Let's hear this once again.
Flowers are God's gift to all of us. And what do we find here in this garden? I was thinking we should make up some flower stories and then present them to the prince later when he comes home.
It's a Jack in the pulpit. What fun it would be if Jack would marry you and cheat. These lady slippers, they don't quite fit, though the bright pink color is a hit.
A buttercup yellow, what do they say? If it shines on your chin, you like butter today.
A Mayflower beautiful, perfume the same. Trailing arbutus is another name.
A star-shaped trillium, white as snow, as they mature, get a pinkish glow.
Oh, the wildflowers, receive we will. In the prince's garden on the hill.
Much better, much better.
He's just a young prince, he will never be king. His father, his praises, he never will sing. He's sent overseas, royal colors to show, to places where others in the family won't go. A prince of a man, he's respected and true, and doing a job not too many could do. If home's where the heart is, then my home's right here. Please come and visit, s'il te plaît, ma chère mère. A prince wants to have me as part of his life. I know I will never, no, be his true wife. He's lonely, he wants me, a true loyal friend. Too soon we will see if and when it will end. It's Canada, I love it, the air is so pure. Edward's built me a music room down by the shore. It's round with a domed roof, a pleasure to see. He holds parties there, all in honor of me.
All
My dears, everyone is worried about me, thinking that Edward will leave me. I know that this is a possibility because I am not English and I am not a royal. I'm unacceptable as a wife. However, I'll take what I have and enjoy the time we have. He has brothers, and they may have other children, or his niece Charlotte will be queen. I refuse to worry about it. I'd rather a life with him by my side than to be alone. If I start making demands or issuing ultimatums, I may find I am sent away sooner than later. Right now, we need each other, and we will carry on as we have been. Today, I have no interest in leaving him and returning to France. People are kind and polite, and we have a comfortable life. I'm not going anywhere. Please don't worry. Love, Julie.
Brother Cameron!
Private Cameron, this is going to be your chance to show that you can lead men. I want you to get these men into shape and have them ready for reporting to Her Majesty's ship Bounty tomorrow morning. This is your chance to show me what you can do.
Attention!
Oh boy. Hold on one moment.
Come on, man, we'll get with it.
Right face!
No, here, right here.
So when I say right face, we're going to pivot and turn. So let's try this.
Pivot and turn.
Pivot.
Cameron!
Which is part of the turning process.
Are you a traitor? Face is the American Navy. It's a right turn!
Well then, I'm quite certain that I'm going to be doing all the dishes for the next 6 weeks here at the garrison.
Carry on, man!
Let's try to get you at attention. Attention!
No. Do I have to teach them everything? Attention! That's how it's done. Try that again. Well done, sir. Yes.
Attention! Very good. At ease. Now, I think the best thing to do is let's go drinking.
Private McKee, arrest that man!
Cameron, go join your buddy Doler and McCullough over at that table and have your beers. I shall take a look.
Aye.
Before we do anything of the sort, we get these men to swear allegiance to His Royal Highness, and then you shall teach them how to swivel and pivot and do all those things.
Yes, sir.
Attention! You. Are you laughing at His Royal Highness? McKee! Tell him what we do to gentlemen who laugh at His Royal Highness.
You don't want to laugh at the Royal. You don't want to laugh at the Royal Highness. Not good. Smile. Chin up.
Attention! I swear to grant allegiance to His Royal Highness, King George III, to undertake service in His Royal Navy wherever it may lead you. Away from your honeys, to follow my sergeant at arms, and to bear a sword on behalf of the crown, or some facsimile thereof. Thank you. Now, sergeant at arms, show them how it's done.
Squad, attention! Right turn!
Oh. Yes.
I'll take number 1 and number 3, 2 and 4. They're washed out.
2 and 4, back to your seats. 1 and 3, march on out.
King, we are not done.
Oh.
Gentlemen, welcome to the Navy. Please line up again. All right. It's very important that you have proper spacing between each other. So everyone, shuffle to your left. Shuffle to your right. Shuffle to your left. Right arm up. Right arm over shoulder of partner. Right knee up. Right knee down. Left knee up. Left knee down. Right knee up with a little hop. Left knee up with a little hop. Right knee up with a hop and a kick. Left knee up with a hop and a kick. Right knee, left knee, right knee, left knee. And again.
I'm George III of England, I am, with Charlotte Young, and we had quite a clan. 50 children, Edward's our first son. 50 children keep you on the run, but everyone is a problem. We didn't have a single one in all the bunch. I'm a strict old English patriarch. George III of England, I am. George III of England, I am. Do a big hand. All right. Welcome to the Navy.
Congratulations. Okay. King the George of England, I am. King the George. Well, we're gonna have some more officers around here soon, I can see. Maybe they'll take over my job. Who knows? Anyway, hi again. How was the main course? Good. 1 course left. We're on the home stretch. Anyway, I got a little bit of gossip for you. Did you hear about the prince? He was on his horse. He fell off the horse. No. The horse fell on the prince. No. I'll get that straight. But anyway, he got his leg crushed by the horse. This is my story. I need to get the facts clearly. But he went away to London for a spell with Julie. I didn't think they'd come back, but they did. Phew. We don't want them to leave. And also, as I'm mingling around here, I've heard some conversations, some serious conversations about who's going to be the next king and queen. Because I really need to know. I'm worried because these two, no ring, it's who knows what's going to happen. And Edward, he's looking for governorship somewhere. Ireland, I think, he needs to get out of the military. It's really difficult for a young royal in the military. And Julie, she's given him 10 years of her life. It's going to be sad when the two have to leave each other. And if they have to leave and leave each other. That would both be bad. Anyway, so back to the narrator. Is that like ambassador? Maybe he's the person the party's for. Okay, I've got to get this figured out.
So, Rena, I found the keys, and there's some shenanigans going on now, but I just wanted you to know we found the keys. So our story continues, and the prince took a great interest in the defenses of the city. Did a lot here and started a lot of other projects. In 1799, Prince Edward was granted the title of Duke of Kent, with an accompanying salary of £12,000 annually, much of which he used to repay those old debts, and he bought lots of keys. Prince Edward is remembered mostly by the rotunda on the Bedford Highway, his old music room. The province maintains it, but rumored basin infilling in the next decade could make that an inland artifact, not a waterfront one. Some politics is inserted in here. It's unfortunate that every aspect of the old Wentworth estate is gone. Julie remained with Edward in this area until 1800, when she made her sixth and last Atlantic crossing, leaving the colonial post of Halifax behind forever. On returning to England, and after serving at various English and European postings, Prince Edward and Julie decided that Brussels was a more economical place to reside, and they lived there until 1817, when the state of succession in the monarchy and the prince's sense of duty forced them to part. Again, Now, the year is 1818. There is great pressure on King George III. As we can see, he's been going a little loopy. To be sure, so the pressure is to be sure that there's an heir in place before he dies. He had 10 sons. One had a child, Charlotte, thought to be a future queen, but she died in childbirth and did not have any more grandchildren after that. Of the 7 sons, only Edward was still able to father a legitimate heir. And it cannot be with Julie. They must part so that he can marry a suitable woman. Julie and Edward are reported to have been reading the morning paper after breakfast in the spring of 1818. To Julie's shock and grief, she reads that Edward is required to leave his present circumstance and find a wife who can bear an heir to the crown of England. She leaves their home in Brussels that day, and they are never together again. So, though they led separate lives, and Edward quickly married, he did provide an annuity for Julie's support. At the time of his death, less 3 years after their parting, the government, or Edward's new wife, made sure that that annuity continued until Julie's death.
Nope, Annie again. I'm running. It's been a long night here at the ambassador's dinner, but a good night, right? Yeah, okay, good. Okay, just bringing you up to speed. That's not quite back in that day, but anyway, that's okay. It's 1818. It's been years since we've heard anything about Prince Edward and Julie. But I was in Halifax the other day getting some tea to buy. I like my tea. And I heard that the prince has married a German princess. Isn't that the saddest turn of affairs that you have ever heard? They make such a beautiful couple. Anyway, we have enjoyed so much having you here at the Wentworth's place. It gave us a little class serving royalty tonight, so thank you. Oh, and you know what? I still have a little teacup that Julie gave me from an English visit she was on. I'm going to treasure it always. Anyway, enough of a sad story. I think we're done with that. Let's drown our sorrows in some desserts and some sweets. It has been great having you here, and perhaps we'll have another party again sometime soon, and you can all come. Oh, important detail, you keep on supporting that BUC Garrison Fund, okay? Just pour the money into it. It's perfect. Oh, and on behalf of all of us here on the Hill, everyone, we want to thank you for coming. Oh, gotta get back to the story. It's getting late. It's been really nice talking to you tonight. And here comes that narrator guy again.
Oh, you all thought we were done, didn't you, there for a second? No. There's a little bit more to the story. We should be done by 1 a.m.
When should I go up?
So, Prince Edward married German Princess Victoria on May 29th, 1918, in Cobury. And then again, married her twice, on July 11th, 1818, in Kew Palace in Kew, Surrey. Their one child, Princess Alexandria Victoria of Kent, became Queen Victoria on June 20th, 1837, on the death of her father's brother, William, who died without an heir. It is written that the Duke took great pride in his daughter, telling his friends to look at her well, for she would be the Queen of England, and bringing the infant to military review, to the outrage of the Prince Regent, who demanded to know what place the child had there. The Duke of Kent died of pneumonia on the 23rd of January, 1820, at Woolbrook Cottage, Sidmouth, Devon, and was buried at St. George's Chapel, Windsor Castle. He died only 6 days before his father, George III, and less than a year after his daughter's birth. He predeceased his father and his 3 elder brothers, but since none of his elder brothers had any surviving legitimate children, his daughter, Victoria, succeeded to the throne in 1837 on the death of her uncle, King William IV.
May I just make one small announcement? Yes. Thank you. I have some sad news. It's actually, no, I'm not going to compare it to that. It's actually quite sad. The tea didn't make it. We don't have any tea. And I'm not joking. So, coffee it is. All the water you want. Okay? Thank you so much. Again, apologize profusely for no tea.
Annie.
Yes?
Tell me, the Keith is okay, right?
Oh, yes. Keith's totally okay.
Yes!
Yes, but, you gotta pay for it. Okay?
My prince and his wife had a fine baby girl. The nation is safe, no more monarchy swirl. Victoria, their daughter, the queen she shall be. Edward's place now in history, in the future I see. His brother, King Regent, is now William IV. But Victoria succeeds when he reigns us no more. Victoria the Queen, may she reign 60 years. It would take all of that to make up for my tears. I gave him his privacy, his wish, his own call, at a very high cost for me above all. I gave him my heart, my life and my dreams. My heart's breaking now, so hard it all seems. I loved him, but heritage kept us apart. German princess as wife, but I still have his heart. He set me up well, provided for life, that he could do, though not have me as wife.
Always remember that the Prince Edward, who lived just down the road at Prince's Lodge near Halifax, was Queen Victoria's father. We can only presume that Victoria would have known of the amazing love story of Edward and Julia. Her mother certainly knew, as she was reported to have sent word to Julie on Princess Edward's death and arranged for her annuity to continue until her death. She prepared Victoria to reign over England and could have told her this aspect of royal life that made her history possible. Victoria was raised by her mother for the role of Queen of England, and she reigned over English domains for 64 years. One day in 1839, she asked Albert, the man she loved, to marry her and to be her consort, a role he filled until his death in 1861. It is reported that on his deathbed, Prince Edward's last words were, "Don't forget me." He is not forgotten, living on in the royal families of Britain who were descendants of his daughter, Victoria. We, in this area, have certainly not forgotten our prince, whose music room we pass daily. Tonight, we remember Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, and Julie, and their touching love story, and feast on in celebration of their lives and heritage. Cheers. Salut.
Before we serve you dessert, we have a few people that we'd like to thank. If you'd like to just take a seat just for a few more minutes, I'll try to be super fast. Okay, so there are 7 key people that we wanted to acknowledge. First of all, for sound and photos. There's some cards back there too. Cards. For sound and photos, we have our techie, extraordinaire. This man is always behind the scenes, lending his technical support, committing countless hours of volunteering. Emma Scott, can you come here and give flowers to Paul Reed? Paul Reed, if you'll come out and take a bow. We appreciate your expertise and willingness to provide your support to yet another BUC production. You'll notice as you came in, it doesn't look quite as organized now as when you came in, but the table setting, the table cover was just extraordinary with the red, white, and blue theme from the Union Jack. It shows tremendous skill and care to create this very professional looking table cover. And even though we had to use Wentworth's old dishware, still came out okay. Sylvia Branton is the lead designer on the table setting. Sylvia, if you could come up. We have Jada who's going to give you a card and a bouquet of flowers, or a rose pot. Yay! Thanks, Sylvia. David has a card for you, Sylvia. King George. Sorry. Okay, now Joan was out on a visit to a friend's home. She saw a piano in the corner of the room and recruited our music director to play for the dinner theater. So we had Valerie Ivy at the Ivories. Valerie demonstrated patience, commitment, and a huge talent as we went over and over and over every song, making constant revisions. And she just excelled with us and was so patient and so willing to take every opportunity that she could to just help us, and was at every single practice. It was a huge commitment. Thank you very much from all of us. And Elizabeth, if you could take some flowers over to Valerie, that would be appreciated. Thank you, Valerie. Okay, our fourth person that I'd like to thank is our costume designer, who is also a retired teacher with a great deal of experience putting costumes together for QEH high school performances over the years. She's another unbelievably committed BUC volunteer who borrowed, sewed, and created these fun and reasonably historically correct costumes. Olivia Thorne, can you please, Mary Louise Mills, if you could come up here, we have flowers for you. Can somebody get the kitchen, the cook, the chef, to come out that kitchen door so I can speak to him too? Maybe the staff would come out and take a bow. Is that a possibility? Our Captain Cook shared his passion for cooking with us, spending the last 2 days preparing this splendid ambassador's dinner. Richard, if you could come up here, we have a bouquet or a pot of flowers for you. Richard O'Brien, thank you so much for doing everything that you did to make this an incredible meal this evening. To everyone back there, you've worked tremendously hard tonight, and it went so smoothly to have all those meals come out and distribute, and you were ready for the next course when we were ready to take it from you. Thank you very much. Okay, our sixth person is another retired teacher of drama. She agreed to direct this cast of inexperienced actors. And Kim has many things on the go, and I made the mistake of saying to her on the first night, "Oh, you're retired, you have so much time to put into this." And she kind of went, when you're retired, I guess it means volunteerment. But Kim has been, in 3 weeks, her son is getting married, and he's marrying a girl named Julie. And I'm certain that our very elegant and regal and most wonderful director, Kim Dompier, will love this Julie and be happy to welcome any errors into the family. So if you could come up, we would love to thank you with a bouquet. Hannah Hill is going to give Kim these flowers. It was Olivia Thorne who gave them to Richard. I didn't mention her name. Thank you, Kim. Okay, when we did the last dinner theater a number of years ago, I was behind the scenes when we did that particular one, helping with costumes. And it never occurred to me that I could be out front on stage until an email from our mastermind behind this production. She approaches everything with such passion, it's very hard to say no. I just want to pull out a few things from Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Tipping Point, where he talks about the little things that make a big difference. He talks about the people with a rare set of social gifts, the things that are agents of change, connectors, mavens, and salespersons or persuaders. I've tried to figure out which one of these Joan might be, which one best describes Joan. Connectors are people who know large numbers of people in a community and have a special gift of bringing them together. Well, this is quite a crew we have here. Mavens are information specialists who accumulate knowledge and know how to share it with others. Did you know that Joan wrote every single speck of this script and every single song for tonight's performance by looking it up and making it historically correct so that we could be more knowledgeable about all that information. Salespersons are persuaders. They're charismatic people with powerful negotiation skills. Put your hand up if you were persuaded, ever so gently, to be here tonight. I have determined that Joan is a rare individual who may actually be all three agents of change in one person. She only ever sees the glass as half full. Her dubbing this dinner theater as an annual event is proof of her ability to see only the positive and pull together this magnificent production in a short amount of time. Joan, we would love for you to come up here so your granddaughter Anne can give you this bouquet of flowers from all of us, and a huge thank you from everyone. And I'd be very surprised if Joan didn't want to say something.
Thank you, thank you. My reputation precedes me. I talk too much. There are so many people that are to be thanked. I just was reminded that we didn't thank Ruth J., who made these flower arrangements in the center of the table. And the oldest person at the table can take the flower home. They're all flowers. That's a privilege. Don't be, no. They're made from things that were on the hill. And Ruth made this little poem, and it's laying against my door frame at home so that I won't forget it. And it didn't get on every table, but they have, what in them that's on the hill down there? The green is from the hill down there. What is it, Ruth? Hemlock, of course, hemlock, ravine. And there are mayflowers in there, so thank you to Ruth for those flowers, and they're lovely. Thank you. We have the best volunteers. Like Annie's talking about having people. Man, Bedford United Church has people, and thank you all so much. And thank you all for coming. I was frightened to death it was going to be just a great big failure because I was organizing it, but you seem to, all these clowns pulled it off, and that's a good thing. I don't know if they could do it twice, but maybe next year, maybe. Oh, Charlie Plant is going to, are we going to have videos?
I hope this thing is on.
It would be very good if we could ask you all if you'd like to buy a video of it. But I mean, It may be broken. If it's terrible, it's broken. Anyway.
Great big thank you to Charlie, our official music.
Yes, thank you. Yes. I know I've forgotten somebody. I know I've forgotten lots of people. Valerie was, Donna Miller was organizing the kitchen. She has a doctorate, and I said, do I have to put Dr. Miller on your, no. So we have some high-priced help tonight, but thank you. Our goal is to raise $10,000, but unless you get over there on that auction line, we might not make that. There are some real bargains over there if you haven't been over. Some gifts that you could give to your family that are there for $10 and beautiful jewelry and the salesman. There's a Bedlam over there for $30. She's gone. They're not $30 when the painter's gone and it's somebody we knew and loved. Anyway, so get over on that side and see what you can buy. And thank you so much. Bye-bye.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the royal feast has not yet quite expired. Before you leave, we have a delicious royal farewell dessert for each and every one of you. It shall be served here momentarily. We hope you'll enjoy it enormously, and we'll see you all next year. All right.